If you remember somersaulting across Coruscant, spamming the hello there button, and Qui-Gon's giant nose, then you grew up playing Obi-Wan for the Xbox. Now, there have been a lot of Star Wars games. Some great, some not so great. But Obi-Wan is the only game I can think of that manages to somehow both be good and terrible at the same time. And so in this video, we're going to revisit this classic to try and understand why. But first, let's set the scene. Even though the final game was released in late 2001, it was actually first announced in 1999 as the next game in the Dark Forces Jedi Knight series and was intended to be released for the PC. However, the following year development was shifted exclusively to Microsoft's upcoming console, apparently at the behest of George Lucas himself. And as far as I know, this is the only Star Wars Xbox exclusive, and LucasArts really wanted you to know that, so they painted Obi-Wan green on the cover. Okay, let's get to the game itself, and for some reason the loading screen has Obi-Wan at different ages. Granted, this game was actually released half a year before Attack of the Clones, so this was the first time many of us saw Jesus Obi-Wan. Now, the campaign itself actually starts before the events of Episode 1 in the underbelly of Coruscant, where young Obi-Wan, drunk on power, is dishing out some vigilante justice. And straight away we're introduced to this game's big gimmick. Instead of using the face buttons, Obi-Wan swings his lightsaber using the right analog stick. And you know what? It's not too bad. The saber is responsive, and it allows for some pretty interesting combos. But even back in the day, it took a while to get used to. And now, after over 2 decades of using the right analog stick to move the camera, it can get a bit jarring, especially when you want to adjust the camera controls and accidentally end up killing a civilian. Now, mapping the saber controls onto the analog stick does free up the face buttons, which is how we ended up with the hello there button.
Hello.
In all seriousness, the game has a good selection of force powers which do help vary up the combat. Just be careful when throwing the lightsaber, it does take forever to come back, leaving you standing there defenseless as you get shot. Like any other action game, you can walk or run, but I found somersaulting was a much better form of transportation. You also get these Jedi Temple saber training missions in between the main levels, and these just involve Obi-Wan beating the crap out of the Jedi Council members one at a time. I'm not sure what to make of the game's graphics either. On one hand, levels like this room look really nice. Look, you've got the reflective floor and the Coruscant skyline, but then we get to the next level and it's just the same picture of the Coruscant skyline cloned 4 times. Anyway, can we go to Naboo now? Nope, we've got another Coruscant mission where you have to find the informant in the midst of a criminal syndicate. Okay, let's roll. Whoops, look, Obi-Wan just dies before he even hits the floor. Oh cool, is that a back-to-pack? Oh no, it's an explosive.
Back off, I'm warning you.
I think it's a little too late for warnings. So the voice actor they got for Obi-Wan isn't that bad, he just seems to have got the wrong direction. Instead of doubling Obi-Wan, he's doubling Ewan McGregor and doing his Scottish accent.
Never seen a lightsaber before, have you? What's your story? Take that, you ugly cuss!
The next level has Obi-Wan take on an army of bounty hunters and these red soldiers. And there are a lot of blade-wielding enemies in this game because of the analog stick combat. Ah, there he is, the big boss himself. Well, that wasn't so hard. Alright, look, Ki-Adi-Mundi, either I kill you now, or you'll just end up getting shot by your own clones eventually. Look at the old conehead backing away. He doesn't want it. He doesn't want it. Ah, finally, the swamps of Naboo. Wait, no, this isn't Naboo. This is a planet called Jin-Ha, where Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon have been sent to rescue Plo Koon and Eve Koth. And this planet is stretched across 3 levels. You've got to trek through the swamp, then go down into the mines, rescue the Jedi, and then backtrack all the way to the top. What is this place anyway? It seems to be some kind of underground Kool-Aid dispensary. Oh shit, don't touch the Kool-Aid. And only then do the Jedi Council send Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon to deal with the Trade Federation.
Dioxis gas! Poison!
If it's poison, then why the hell are you just standing there waiting to get shot? And you know what? I'm not even sure this is poison. Look, Obi-Wan is straight up hotboxing it and nothing's happening.
They've destroyed our ship!
Look at him just pacing around. Oh my god, it's Newt Gunray!
You look suspiciously like a Jedi.
And yes, in case you're wondering, you can kill him.
That's it. Great thinking, Padawan.
Okay, so what's next? The Naboo Swamp? Nope, you actually get a level inside the dropship as they descend down to the planet. In fact, actually, there's no Naboo Swamp level at all, or any Auto Gunga level. You go straight to Theed. And again, this is another example of the graphics just suddenly looking much better. It's almost like they focused on certain levels over others. Now, the levels themselves are pretty generic. You just run around fighting battle droids and rescuing civilians. Obi-Wan then infiltrates the palace via the kitchen. Oh, looks like Queen Amidala likes her barbecue ribs. Now, speaking of the Queen, remember that annoying escort mission in the Phantom Menace game? Well, you've got another one here, but only this time it's with the Queen's handmaid. Oh, and by the way, Obi-Wan can throw grenades in this one. Not very well, mind you. Anyway, we save the Queen and then we're off to Tatooine. And this is where we hit a bit of a narrative snag, because Obi-Wan spends that entire third of the movie on the ship browsing midichlorian samples. The Phantom Menace game got around this by switching to Qui-Gon, but this game is called Obi-Wan, so the developers had to make up some rubbish about the Queen being kidnapped by Tusken Raiders, and it's up to Obi-Wan to rescue her. Alright, here I come. Look at these poor Tuskens, they're absolutely flabbergasted. Imagine you're a sand person relaxing around a fire after a long day of pillaging moisture farmers, and then this guy just comes somersaulting towards you from the desert. Hey, can I ride this bantha?
I'm not sure.
I'll take that as a no. What follows are two very long, very grindy, very brown levels. Fortunately, you can just run past most of the Tuskens in these levels as they're not fast enough to catch up to you. And all of this culminates in the battle against the Tusken Chief. Well, I say battle.
I have defeated your war chief. Allow me to return to my ship safely with the Queen.
Hold on a second, if Padme is the real Queen and she's with Qui-Gon, then did I just get set on fire for a decoy? Oh, no wonder he was in such a bad mood when Qui-Gon came back.
Why do I sense we've picked up another pathetic life form?
Right, time to return to Coruscant for a warm welcome. Oh, Jesus crap, no.
Try again, Padawan.
It's too late, Qui-Gon, he's already dead. I think this is actually the very first time we see Mace Windu with a purple lightsaber, at least in video games. Alright, back to Naboo, but this time at night, so you can't see where you're going. Okay, so you climb up the cliff to the city, then you run around the city for ages looking for this turbo laser cannon.
Jedi, are we ever glad to see you?
Spoke too soon, mate. These levels are also full of these super battle droids from Wish. We get a few more levels inside Theed, and then it's time for the final battle. Now, both the Phantom Menace and Jedi Power battles made you do a ton of platforming before actually facing Darth Maul. I think these developers ran out of budget at this point, so they cut straight to Qui-Gon getting stabbed. And I also think they ran out of time to program Darth Maul, because the fight itself is incredibly easy. I had a harder time against the Tusken Chief. Just keep circling and hitting until it's over. And that's it, there's no celebration fanfare this time, just Anakin and Obi-Wan boarding the Nubian. And look, you've got all your favorite characters, the decoy, CT-14, and that random Wookiee from the very first level. And speaking of random, the very last thing you see in this game is this absolutely bonkers monologue from old Scottish Obi-Wan.
Choose sitting in Jabba's throne room, watching mind-numbing dancers, stuffing green tubers into your mouth.
And so there we have it, Obi-Wan for the Xbox. Now this game was certainly not lacking in ambition. Not only did it try a novel new combat approach, but it also delved beyond the film's plot, both trying to fill in some narrative gaps and broaden the overall universe. However, this game would end up being a textbook example of good ideas and poor execution. The controls, while novel, end up being frustrating or unintentionally hilarious. Meanwhile, the expanded levels and worlds can feel both generic and repetitive, but also unintentionally hilarious, while the next-gen graphics look great 1 minute and then not so great. And yet, it all comes together to give this game a distinct level of charm and character, making Obi-Wan for the Xbox the best worst Star Wars game. But that's just my take. Please let me know your thoughts about the Obi-Wan game in the comments. Did you like it? Did you hate it? And what did you think of the controls? As always, thanks for watching. Please consider supporting me on Patreon, and a big thanks to all my existing patrons. Also, if you've enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.